Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Greider. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be connecting in with you on the author's journey, where we're having great, candid, real conversations with amazing transformational authors that are willing to pull back the curtain and share from their heart, share about what the journey was like, what they learned, what they are bringing forward from all that they've learned. So I'm very excited to have our amazing guest today that I know you will love getting to know. She has a vast experience, not only as an author and leader of book compilation projects, but she has worked with so many authors, award-winning authors, helping them bring their message forward powerfully. So I'm excited to have her joining us. But before we get into our conversation, I always like us to take a moment where we stop and breathe, catch up with ourselves a little bit, become fully present. So our heart, our mind, our ears, everything is open to receive. Listener, this is your time. This is a time for us to come alongside you, to pour into you and support you on your journey. And the way you can get the most out of our time together is choosing to stop, pause, breathe, and be present, open to receive everything that is here for you today. So just connecting in, listening, and thinking about as you have an opportunity to learn from an amazing publisher, compiler, and leader, what are some of those things you would like to know about the author's journey, about bringing your message forward? We're going to have a conversation sharing many things that I believe will be supportive on the journey and share with you, but we will also give you an opportunity towards the end of the show, letting you know how you can connect with our guests deeper. So if we don't hit all of the questions, all those things you're wanting to know more about, you'll have an opportunity and a way to connect in with our amazing guest further. So listen in, take a breath, fully present, thrilled to have you here, and I'm excited to introduce our amazing guest. So Cathy Davis is the founder and CEO of Davis Creative Publishing Partners. She's a #1 international best-selling author and compiler. She has supported award-winning authors, as I mentioned, bringing their powerful works forward. She and her organization helps speakers, trainers, consultants, experts, influencers use the power of publishing as a marketing tool to grow their business. She is passionate about helping her clients reap the benefits of publishing for both personal and business growth. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and mission-driven Cathy Davis to the show. Welcome.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are welcome. I'm very excited to have you joining us, and I love your passion to help authors as they're navigating the publishing world do so in such a powerful way that there's personal growth, there's business growth, that they are reaping all of the rewards of publishing. But I'd love for you to take a moment and share why this work of helping authors in this way, why is that personally important to you and meaningful to you?
It's curious. I believe I look back on my childhood, and books always played an important role. And as I made my way through my corporate career, we created books then even, but it was books to me are a great way to tell your story, whether it's a business story, whether it's a personal story, and we all have a story to tell. It's a matter of taking that first step and finding your voice and allowing yourself to share that story. I think it's like shared wisdom, and wisdom not shared is lost forever. That's a core belief of mine.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that. I'm curious, as you have worked with so many different authors in different ways to bring their books forward. Is there a favorite moment, a favorite part of that journey? Maybe it's as they're helping tap into that wisdom so that it isn't lost forever, that it's being brought forward. But is there a favorite part of that process for you, that moment that makes it all, that's why I do what I do?
Exactly. I've seen transformation. I've seen where people will ask me, what do I have to say? Why would someone want to hear what I have to say? I don't have a story to tell. And our team will help them pull that story out of them. And that aha moment when they realize that just the act of writing that simple first chapter, whether it's one chapter in a collection, an anthology, or whether it's the first chapter in their full book that they're writing themselves, that moment of aha, that recognition when they go, wow, you start with that one sentence, then you start with that one paragraph, and then all at once you put 2 or 3 paragraphs together and you have the beginning of a chapter. And that recognition that someone receives that, yes, I do have something to say. It is important. Other people do want to hear what I have to say. That's the moment, for me anyway, that creates the spark, the excitement for me.
I love that. And I love how you share that one sentence. So the starting, writing it down, and that one sentence becomes a paragraph, becomes more paragraphs and a chapter. I think so often we're trying to eat the elephant all at once versus one bite at a time. And I love how you support people in starting and taking that first step, realizing and that you celebrate with them that, wow, I do have something to say, that this does matter. And you create such a powerful process to help them discover that, pull it out of them, and bring it forward. I love that, but I want listeners to really hear that start part, because I think so often, I don't know if you experience this, Cathy, so often we are in that someday place. Someday we'll bring that book forward, or maybe eventually I'll be able to do that. It's not where we're actually starting and doing it. Do you find that with people that you talk to and authors?
I liken the act of writing a book is very similar to putting together what I would say a 1,000-piece puzzle. And especially over the last 6 months once the quarantine started, I would see a lot of social media posts where families are sitting around a table putting together puzzles. And I kind of felt like, well, I want to do that too. And then it occurred to me that I do that on a daily basis, and that if you can just look at writing a book very similarly, like writing or putting together a puzzle. Some people like that part, some people don't. And if you don't like that part, then it's good to find someone who can help you put the puzzle together. But it's simple steps, like find the corners first, turn all the pieces up so that the image is showing, so that you know what you're dealing with. We work with people no matter where they are in the process. Some people are very lineal and like to start with an outline. Some people prefer just a big brain dump, and then we help them organize their thoughts into a more easy read. So it's just being able to take that first step, and whether it's finding the corners of a puzzle or writing that first sentence, and being able to get quiet long enough to hear that first sentence come through your brain and your thoughts.
Beautiful. That is such a powerful image and picture. And everyone who has ever done a puzzle, what I've learned is people approach it in different ways. Sometimes people organize it by color or by type of image on it, the outline, the edges. Like, everyone is so different, and that all of those ways can help the picture come together, can help the book come together. And I also love this reminder that we don't have to do it alone, that your team can help them organize it, whatever their style is, to start to bring that forward. And I think that's really, really powerful. And I hope gives our listeners an opportunity to think about that book that is speaking to them, that message that is being called to come forward, kind of wherever you are in that process. You can start. You can bring it forward step by step. As we get ready to go to our first commercial break, I want to give you a moment, listeners, to stay present and really think about what Cathy has shared about what are steps you can take, a step you can take to start bringing your message forward, your wisdom forward. Because if you feel that pull in your heart, it's because the message is needed now, not someday. So what is a step perhaps that you can take? And we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in 2 minutes.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. You gave yourself an opportunity to really think about looking at your story, your message, your puzzle. What is a piece that you can bring forward? What is a step that you can take? I was talking behind the scenes with Cathy about what a beautiful image that was and how we can all approach our puzzles so differently. And isn't that beautiful that we can and we can get support in however we look at our puzzle to be able to still bring it forward. And one of the things that Cathy does a lot of, and her organization does a lot of, not only does she help authors bring their own book forward, so individual authors bringing books forward, she also works with groups of authors to bring an anthology or a compilation forward where each author is contributing a section, a chapter, an essay for the book under a common theme or subject matter to bring forward. And those are really, really powerful projects. And so I wanted to ask you just to have a candid conversation of why you decided to lean in and be what we call a compiler, someone that is leading a project with multiple authors like that forward. Why is that something that called to you? And then I'm looking forward to talking about a couple of those projects.
So years ago, probably 2005-ish, so about 15 years ago, we were approached by one of our clients who was involved with a nonprofit to put together a collection of essays written by different people who were either volunteers or on the board in order to support that nonprofit. And that was our first entree into the world of the compilation anthology. As we grew and as our client base grew, we saw a need specifically from authors saying, as we mentioned earlier, well, what would I have to say? And we found that the anthology was a terrific way to tiptoe into that publishing pond. And about 7 or 8 years ago, I decided to sponsor my own anthology. I kept getting calls from some of the authors that were in the original one in 2005 wanting reprints, and I said, well, we don't really own the rights. And rather than continually to tell them no, I said, well, let's just do another one. So we picked a theme, and we invited people to join us. And now, fast forward, we do 3 or 4 anthologies a year. Typically, I will pick a theme, or someone will come to me with an idea for a theme, and then we invite people to join us. And themes over the years have been living well. You know, that was a collection of people in the health and wellness field. We did a response to the Me Too movement, and it was called Hear Her Now, and it was women's voices. It's a chance the anthology is a chance, one, to not only help you find your voice, but help you share what it is that you're thinking and feeling, especially in an environment where you need that opportunity to voice an opinion. And we like to offer that.
Beautiful. I love that. And to be able to become a published author, to be able to step into that, start expressing your voice one chapter at a time, I feel like is an easier step sometimes than trying to take on a whole book all at once. So I love that you offer that and you listen to that call that they kept giving you and asking you for those types of opportunities. So I love that you do that and provide that. And I know one of the anthologies that you recently released was Fearless and Fabulous. And with that particular book, you had you always have amazing authors, amazing people that you attract, but you also decided to do a visibility best-selling campaign around it. It became a #1 international bestseller, multiple categories and countries. And so I was curious about a few things. So one, what was it like? Because that's a more recent project that you did to lead that particular project and then lead it to deciding to do that visibility best-selling campaign, some of why you decided to do that. And what was it like leading that project and then leading it and holding space to them to step into visibility like that?
That was an exciting project. We started that last year around December of 2019, not realizing that there was going to be a pandemic that spring.
Yeah.
And it's typically for us, it's a 3 to 4 month process. So by the time we learned that everyone was going into quarantine, we pretty much had the book done. We had all these chapters submitted, and we were approached by some of the authors in mid-March who said, are we going to finish it? And I kind of had to laugh to myself, and it was like, well, the title of this series is called Fearless and Fabulous. So heck yes, we're going to finish this. But the opportunity exists there. We work with a lot of small business owners. And this is an arena where, for a fairly low price point, they can step into a publication by submitting one chapter and use that as a marketing tool to grow their business. And by adding on to that, the bestseller campaign, which we've been doing with all of our books lately, is the ability then to gain even a bigger buzz and even a bigger exposure for authors who perhaps might not have the budget to be exposed to that if they took that on by themselves.
Wow, beautiful. I love that. So not only are you supporting them and getting their message out there, you're also creating a wonderful opportunity for visibility for their message too, to reach more people. And for those entrepreneurs or small businesses, that can translate into so much for their marketing and their business and all they're looking to do. So I love that you've combined all of those together. Were there any surprises in either in that project or others as you've led a group of people? Because I know it's such a transformational process. And then on top of that, they are now stepping into media and being seen on a higher level. Were there any surprises along that way, things you loved, things that just you were surprised that were dealt with? I'd just love for you to pull back the curtain and share a little bit.
There was a last-minute surprise with Fearless and Fabulous. As a reminder, this was April 28th, so we are right at the very beginning of quarantine, and industries are changing.
Yes.
The process is you upload a file and you wait for it to be approved through Amazon KDP. And little did we know that, overnight, basically, Amazon had a new policy of we could no longer use the word COVID, COVID-19, or coronavirus in the book. Well, unbeknownst to us, we, at the last minute, I added that as kind of the last caveat in the back cover of the book, saying, again, unknown to us, we're in the middle of a COVID-19 coronavirus quarantine, and literally at the last hour, we had to pull that book back off of Amazon, go through that book, make those edits, change everything. I wasn't even able to let the authors know until after we had edited some of their chapters that we had to change. We used words such as quarantine or shelter in place or pandemic, words that were going to be accepted by Amazon. Otherwise, that book would not have gone out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you were able to, and on the outside, it was seamless. And
thankfully, yes, on the outside, it was seamless. There was a bit of sleep lost on this in that last 24 hours, but it's all good. It all worked out in the end.
Yeah. Oh, and I love that you persevered. You were able to keep it on track, bring it forward as is promised. Because I know with those campaigns, there's dates set and marketed and as to when the book's going to be released, and that you were able to, even in quarantine and in those dynamic and changing times that were moving and changing so quickly during that window of time, and we're still finding our evolving.
That's the beauty of print on demand, too, is that you can make those last-minute edits and changes. You don't like them, but you can make them and still have things fall into place.
Which is so powerful. So I love that you were able to do that and bring that forward. And now we're on the cusp of another book, another anthology coming out, compilation called Bright Spots. I'm excited and honored to be part of this. It's an amazing book project that you are leading and bringing forward. And tomorrow, so listeners, if you're listening to this, we are pre-recording it. So we're pre-recording the show on September 30th to be released in November or December of this year, and October 1st, which is tomorrow for us in the pre-record land. Tomorrow, the book is launching and doing a best-selling campaign and kind of stepping into all of that space. So I wanted to give you a moment to share a little bit about this book, Bright Spots, the vision, what your hopes are for it, and some of what's going through your head and mind as you're looking at it's releasing tomorrow.
So it's a very exciting time in our office. We have put this one to bed, so to speak, is what we say internally. And yet it's kind of like birthing a child or birthing a baby. You know that the excitement is going to even get greater, as of 6 a.m. tomorrow. And we can just hit the ground running, and we have a fantastic time watching the ratings go up, for the Amazon bestseller campaign. And the title of this is Bright Spots, and it came to me actually while sitting at a stoplight, having the radio on in my car and hearing the announcement that we were all going into quarantine. And I remember the day, it was March 13th, it was a Friday, and that was the last day that I had an in-person appointment with a client. And, our lives changed at that point. What I took from that inner voice in my head with the phrase bright spots was, what can we do to give back at this time? And we chose to take that phrase and use it as our next theme for this anthology that's coming out this fall, was that we requested submissions by authors around the world. And that's the exciting part, is that we have 5 or 6 countries in addition to the U.S. where authors have contributed chapters about a silver lining that they have seen, that they've experienced, that what have they learned going through these last 6 months. It's an amazing collection. I'm thrilled just to be a part of it, to be a part of this group of almost 40 authors now that are involved in this book.
So exciting, and sharing that silver lining. I think we've gone through a time of reflection, having so many things in our lives changed with the global pandemic and quarantine and all the different ways it's being handled in different countries and in different locations. And it's given us time to reflect and think about things. And your book is so timely. It's so powerful. And it's a way to capture some of that wisdom, some of that silver lining, and to remind us that we can choose to be bright spots for ourselves and for all of those around us. It's an amazing collection. I know, Cathy, you've gotten to read the chapters. I've read a few of them, and they are impactful. They're insightful, and they're each in kind of a bite size. So you can stop for a moment, take in that message, let it sink into your heart, soul, and spirit in your daily life, which I just think is brilliant. So very excited. I'm glad that your office is excited tomorrow, 6 a.m., that it all gets started and is being launched and shared out in the world. I love that. And as we're getting ready for our, and I want to thank you for taking time today, because that's a busy time, kind of that last window of time. So before the launch, thank you for taking time out and sharing this moment with us and your thoughts and insights. And as you're looking ahead, is there a tip, a message, something that you want to share with our listeners that they can do today to perhaps find that silver lining, take a step in bringing their message forward? Are there some things in your heart and spirit you want to share with them?
The one theme that continues to come up, and the one thing I find myself saying to all of our authors, is never be afraid to ask. Publishing a book is, for me, for an author, sometimes can be intimidating. And so for me, it's much like if I sit down to have a conversation with a real estate agent or an insurance agent, I may not know the first questions to ask. Don't be intimidated by that with publishing. Reach out to someone. You don't have to know all the answers. There's a lot of people involved in publishing right now that know the right answers, the right direction to send you, whether you work with them or with someone else. Reach out, ask. I think ask is the most important question. Is don't be afraid to ask, how do I start? What's my first step?
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. As we get ready to go to our next commercial break, listeners, I want you to think about, what are some questions you have? What would you like to know more about publishing, more about those first steps? You have been given full permission, in case you were waiting for that, to ask questions and encouraged to do so. Don't worry about not knowing what you don't know, but be willing to start and be willing to ask some questions, have that conversation, take some steps to bring your message forward. Really think about that over these next 2 minutes, and we will look forward to continuing our conversation in just a moment.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you wrote down some questions, some things that you would love to ask or know more about. Perhaps those next steps, getting clarity on some things. Really be willing to ask, be willing to take some of those first steps. So important. Cathy shared some great information with us today, and we're going to let you know in a little bit how you can go deeper, how you can connect in with her. We are always happy to help and support as well. So I want to encourage you that this is not a solo journey, that we are all coming together to support you, because when we come together and we support each other and we bring our messages forward, heart by heart, life by life, circle of influence by circle of influence, we are making the world a better place. So your message, your story, that thing that you're called to bring forward absolutely matters, especially at times like this. So I want to encourage you to take those steps, write those questions down. And I'm going to have Cathy share about some of her new and exciting upcoming projects that she is doing, and then how you can go deeper and connect with her. So Cathy, take it away. What are some exciting projects that you have that are coming up?
We have 2 upcoming anthologies, collection of essays. If someone would like to tiptoe into that publishing pond, the first comes out at the end of January, and we're starting to accept reservations for chapters now. It's called Engaging Experts, your guide to the people and connections you need to go from ordinary to extraordinary. The second one that we're also going to start talking about in the upcoming weeks is called Living My Truth, Personal Reflections on the Impact of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Legacy. And that will launch at the end of April. So there's 2 opportunities, one a bit more left brain, one a bit more right brain for the creatives that people have the option to contribute to. The best way that I can be reached is either via email, Cathy@daviscreative.com, or you can visit our website, daviscreative.com/connect, and that's our reach out page where you can send me a note and it goes straight to my inbox.
Perfect. Great. And then as people are thinking about these projects, feeling in, any tips or ideas of how to kind of feel into those projects, or tips that you may have, anything to kind of support them in looking at those opportunities? Because she mentioned she has several of these a year that she's doing. These are the upcoming ones that you're getting kind of a preview of that are coming. Any tips or suggestions as they're feeling into those to help see if that's something that pulls at their heart?
I think it's important. You hear authors talk about, listening for their muse or their inspiration. I think that can also be translated into getting quiet and just, relaxing, whether you're into meditation or prayer or sitting on your back deck with your favorite beverage. It's listening to the birds. It's a matter of getting quiet to listen to your heart, to know which one is truly calling you or what direction is truly calling you. And quite often that leads you to your next step.
Powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Getting still, that listening, so that we can hear. Sometimes we're just moving so fast. We don't take time to listen, to catch up with ourselves. That to-do list can run us instead of us being purposeful and setting the to-do list to support us in what we're wanting to bring forward.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that reminder to really feel in, get still, be able to listen, to hear what is calling and pulling at you. And do you mind giving your site one more time so that people, in case they missed writing it down?
Sure. It's daviscreative.com, and it's under /connect.
Perfect. Thank you again for making yourself available, giving us the opportunity to learn from you. And listeners, here's a wonderful opportunity to connect and go deeper if those are projects that pull at your heart, or you just had some of those questions you'd still like to ask Cathy. She's amazing. I know she'd be happy to answer your questions, support you on your journey. And I want to thank you for listening, being part of our time together today. Your story matters. Your message, your wisdom is absolutely needed in the world. And I want to encourage you to take steps. Bring it out of that someday to today, that you can bring it forward to serve those around you, to serve future generations. It really matters that we stop and we pause and we choose to bring our story forward, our message forward, whether that's speaking, writing, whatever different formats it's called to bring forward. If you're feeling that pull in your heart, it's because your message is needed, not someday, but today. Be willing to take steps today on your journey. If we can ever be of support, we are happy to. You can always reach out and connect, set up a time for us to talk at meetwithrebecca.com. Again, that's meetwithrebecca.com, and we will be happy to support you on your journey, connect you with amazing experts like Cathy so that you can bring your message forward. And as you go back out into the world, I encourage you to take just a couple moments at the end of the show to really pause, reflect on what was shared with you, but also what was shared on your heart. Take a couple moments. Take that in. Put down a couple notes. Bring those messages forward. What are a couple steps you can take? And then, as you go back out into the world, do so mindfully and purposely. I hope you have an amazing week, and I can't wait to see your message come forward in the world. Have an amazing week, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall-Gruyter for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.